gathering power of music. I think it brings all kinds of different people together and brings them up out of themselves and creates this collective moment. And that collective moment shows that we are actually connected to each other. And that's an amazing feeling to be part of cultivating, creating. And that's why I do it. So, we played Governor's Ball. There's all kinds of people, different people at that thing. But in one moment, all those different people are feeling together and connected with each other. That's a definition of joy, and that's what we're about. But if you ask me my views, I'll just say them,
Sure.
And because I have a voice, because I have a public voice, I feel compelled to use it because I think every statement, including remaining silent, is a political statement.
Gotcha. So then, one thing that I've always liked, and that probably a lot of people have noticed, is that you don't do it on every song, but when you kind of have that talk approach in the middle. Like in Semi-Charmed Life, in Cop versus Phone Girl, and some of the other songs on the last EP. Just was wondering, like in general, how did you arrive at your style in that regard? Like when you're saying, "I believe in the faith that grows," all that, and you're talking, and then with the Cop versus Phone Girl, you talk. You know what I'm referring to? I was just wondering, like, what inspired that, because it's kind of a unique approach.
It's a little hard to hear you. I'm actually driving and
oh, sure.
I've driven in a car out somewhere in Pennsylvania. You think talking or what?
No, I said that you kind of have in some of you noticeably have that approach where you're singing, then suddenly you're talking out a part of the song, and I always thought that was kind of an interesting approach. And I was just wondering what inspired that, or if there's any big idea behind it.
Yeah, it just comes from it has too many lyrics to actually say, so I just changed the cadences. And I was kind of like hip hop, and I love the ability to just spread out the lyrical space of kind of spoken word or sing song. So, I'm just somebody with a mic who wants to just spit, and that's kind of how I do it.
Gotcha.
That's what.
Okay, so then I was let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to ask also. You guys have decided. I don't know if it's just a matter of how the industry works these days, that albums aren't as essential as they used to be. But you guys made a specific point of, hey, we're going to do singles and EPs going forward at one point. So are you still holding to that, or are you guys going to do full albums? And is there anything you want to say about how the industry is changing in terms of how you decide how to release your work?
Absolutely. So we just finished a 7-song EP of songs that were written by other artists that we really love, and they're all songs that never became that big, but we always thought were great. And we kind of on a really just for fun, we would roll into studios on our last tour in Europe and just pop in and record on a day off. And because those are covers, they're kind of homages to various different bands like Santa Gold, Queens of the Stone Age, Baby Shambles, Justin Vernon, and smaller bands like Happy Diving and Chastity Belt. We thought it would be really cool if we gave the money that came from that record away. So we're putting out a record that's being the proceeds are going to go to arts education, and specifically the Warhol music. So it'd be very cool.
How did you pick the Warhol Museum?
Because we were in the Warhol, and we like to go, and they run a really great program that engages kids in art, and so we just said, why not you? And we did. So we're actually going to be using one of Warhol's skulls. They gave us permission. And then we had a street artist named Uncut graffitied over it and made it into. So it's like taking one people's work and then taking it forward. And that's kind of what we did with the song. So we see that kind of analogy.
Okay. So then, what do you feel? This is pretty much my last question. Like, what do you hope to be going with Third Eye Blind for the future? Are you hoping to do this indefinitely, or do you guys have hey, we're going to do 25 years and out, or anything like that? Because these days it seems like bands can play as long as they want. So I mean, what do you have left to achieve? What's your goal, do you think, for the future? Something big you want to do?